This is Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
This is episode 449 on the 29th of November 2021 as we celebrate the final episode of November 2021 and T minus one episode
It's
to the special
9:45.
surprise. 48 hours remain for the special surprise as well as the final milestone episode of 2021. That is the 450th episode. We started this year with the 300th episode and we will end this year with the 450th episode. Before we go further, let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. The India New Zealand Test Championship, that is the first match in the new cycle of the 2021 to the 2023 World Championship, has reached an interesting stage, notwithstanding the substandard ground in which the match is being held by substandard umpiring and decent batting. New Zealand now need just over 270 runs to win the match. And of course, the umpire bowler arguments, and that is why 3 years ago I had proposed a red card or a yellow card, that is a football and a hockey like penalty for the bowlers. We often say this is a batter's game. Well, bowlers also get away with poor decisions. And then what happened yesterday? It was a poor decision. The fact that the artificial intelligence technology showed that the ball was missing the stumps by a long way, and by the time the batter consulted his other partner, the time was up, and then, of course, the argument began. And therefore, I had proposed 3 years ago a red card, yellow card kind of scenario for everyone, whether it's the batters, the bowlers, overall the attitude of the team, because by the time the match referee makes his decision, the game will be over. What will the match referee do? At best, fine the bowler. Nowhere will a match referee in an India match suspend a bowler. We have seen what has happened before when a bowler has been suspended or was threatened to be suspended from the match. We know what has happened before. And of course, we call New Zealand a nice team. I think after this match, I hope that the Indian Cricket Board changes the umpires and overhaul of the umpires, as New Zealand after 8.4 overs are 1 for 17, because umpires from other countries or even from a neighboring country cannot travel here because of whatever reasons, and rumors spreading about new things coming up over the past few days. We have to rely on incompetent and inexperienced Indian umpires who have no experience with the DRS, because in domestic matches there is no DRS. That's what I don't understand. Why is there no DRS for the third umpire and the umpires on the field? And of course, here as the ball bounces, misses, and Latham and Somerville, the night watchman, I never liked the concept of night watchman or night guard, because it's basically saying that the main batter who is supposed to come at number 3 says, I don't want to come in the last 5 minutes of a match. I'm afraid I will get out. So I will send somebody else as a scapegoat. And if these two have a 50-60 run partnership, it will give confidence to numbers 4 to 10 that yes, if these two can do it, if a guy from number 11 who is promoted to number 3 or is a scapegoat at number 3 can do the job, then why can't I do the job? Don't be surprised if New Zealand are able to chase this down, knowing that, yes, how the match has been so far, and New Zealand, they have done well in this match apart from a few controversies as Latham defends. So 9.1 overs, 1 for 17. And in terms of disappointment, of course, this entire match has been a disappointment because two players from the Indian team have not performed up to the expected levels. So there is a constant rhetoric campaigning against two players who have played 80 and 90 matches, that is Rahane and Pujara. The negative campaigning continues. Yes, they are not making runs, they are making 35s and 45s. I think even that's good enough. In the context of how Shreyas Iyer batted, one can say that when Virat Kohli comes into the team, who will be dropped? Will it be one of the openers? Will it be Rahane? Because he's not made runs over the past 1 year. And you can easily downplay his Melbourne innings, which happened exactly a year ago. You can question he hasn't made runs. Is it technique? Is it mindset? Is it deteriorating skill sets? I don't know how does that work, but that's the way it is. As 9.2 overs, 1 for 17. But let me just tell you, if this was any other, if this was the likes of Tendulkar and Dravid and Lakshman who were not making runs, there would be no campaigning that dropped them. They should not play. They have been given too much of a time. They should be out. Why? Because, well, the obsession with them continues. And as I said before, don't be surprised if it as an inside edge and this will go to the boundary, well, a single to the boundary. So as I said, don't be surprised if in 10 years time you might see one of Rahane and Pujara either one of them will be in the commentary box in the next 5-6 years, and the other one will be the coach of the team. Though it will happen, it can happen, but let me tell you, who will not be a commentator out of these individuals, at least who are in their late 30s, 34, 35, 33, in the next 5-6 years, you will not see Ravichandran Ashwin as an expert. He might be an expert for his regional language channel, edged and falls short. Once again, poor quality of the ground and everything. You might see Jadeja as an expert in the next 5-6 years. That is a possibility. But Kohli, no. The likes of Rohit Sharma, maybe. Rohit Sharma could be made the coach of the Mumbai domestic team. That is different from the Mumbai Indians team. That is the T20 over domestic team. But the few individuals who might be recruited as so-called experts and whom I will listen to more than the current lot, whom I hope are done away with once this group comes in. Jadeja, definitely. Pujara, Rahane, both. One of them as a coach of the youth team or as an expert in the next 4-5 years, maybe for the regional channels, maybe for English/Hindi channel, but there will be. Kohli, no. Rohit Sharma, no, he will not agree. He may see it as a downgrade. Sometimes it can be seen as a downgrade. So these are the people who can be. That's a possibility. Ashwin, no. Jadeja, it's a possibility. He can be. But that's what I think will happen in the next 5-6 years, as after 10 overs, the first power play, whatever, it's 1 for 18. So this is how the match went so far. On day 1, India scored 4 for 258. On day 2, they collapsed to 10 for 345. New Zealand were 0 for 129. Everybody said, what beautiful batting. The Indian bowlers were not good enough, not in their elements, blah, blah, blah. Day 3, New Zealand 296 all out. And I think if this match is drawn, that's a possibility. New Zealand, for batting slow on day 3, making only 160 runs in the entire day, will be the effect it will have on the entire match and the series. They will play the same way today. They're not looking to win. Win is the third thing they have. They just want to kind of survive the day, as you say, by lunch, by session, 30 overs kind of thing. And then, as always, bad light will come into play in this match. Maybe not in the next match in Bombay, but definitely. On day 4, India were 50 for 5 with the likes of Pujara and Rahane and Gill and Agarwal and Jadeja not able to contribute. And then it was left to the likes of Iyer, the all-rounders, Ashwin, Aksar, and then lucky Riddhiman Saha to be in the team because a more better batter and a better keeper is not in contention for this tournament in Rishabh Pant. Yes, Saha batted well, but if Pant was there, he would have at least tried to accelerate, tried to score more, because they were scoring at 2.5 runs per over. Had they not done that, India would have got more than 3 overs they did. And New Zealand did lose a wicket, but that doesn't count because that was purely an incompetent decision by a set of incompetent people. And should they feel good or bad for the umpires? I don't think so. Because if you're trained, you have umpires from other countries, how in the world do they do well? They do their job. Even an umpire from a neighboring country from the south does well than our Indian umpires. Especially the DRS thing is absolute nonsense. As this ball stays low, well, this reminds me of the bowling. You play the indoor bowling, the ball just rolls along the pitch, which means if you miss, well, you miss. Just a reminder, there's a parallel match also happening, as of course The Sri Lanka West Indies match has been delayed due to rain. What did you expect in Sri Lanka? Rain. So 1 for 20 after 10.4 overs. As Latham defends astutely, and after 11 overs, they are 1 for 20. After 10.5 overs, they are 1 for 20. So let's see what happens in this particular match. As once again, Umesh bowls to Somerville, the ball stays low, misses the bat, and goes to the substitute keeper. Well, if you had seen my team, I already had KS Bharat as my wicket keeper over Saha at any time. This one, the number 11 batter cuts past the boundary to the boundary, the third boundary of this match, as after 11 and a half overs, New Zealand are 1 for 24 and he's batting with confidence. And if they are batting like this and they have around 80 overs remaining, I presume, or 85 overs remaining, they need around 260 to win. All they need is half a run per over. Can they do it? Yes. Just to remind you, Ishant Sharma at this point is injured, so India are handicapped and they only have one fast bowler and three spinners. This time, once again, drives well, and the second boundary of the over, consecutive boundaries, and a bit of. And now, when you see a 6 feet number 11 bat like this, you might as well as put your head down in shame. He might get out, but then people will compare he's batting much better than the likes of Pujara and Rahane, and the negative campaigning continues. Can't do anything about it. That's the nature of these things. So 1 for 28 after 11.4 overs. What will happen? And now the night watchman plan is working. Let's see what happens. Once again on the pads, straight to the fielder. So 11.5 overs, 1 for 28. And this is episode 449, the final episode of 2020, November 2021, as we go into the last month of 2021 and will celebrate the 450th episode on this coming Wednesday. Once again, cut but straight to point. After 12 overs, it's 1 for 28 as we will celebrate the 450th episode, but there will be an additional celebration. What will be that celebration? You will know that very soon. So, apart from the 450th episode, there will be one more reason to celebrate the 450th episode, the final milestone episode of 2021. And New Zealand need around 256 to win in around 80 overs, but that's the last thing they are thinking. They have a couple of good batters still to come. Let's see what happens as Latham defends, and whatever the bowlers try, you never know. They might lose wickets, they might be bowled out, but if they can drag this till lunch, scored 60-70 runs, losing at best they are 70 for 1 at lunch. You never know. They might say, okay, we need 100 runs in 60 overs. We can do the job. 200 runs in 60 overs. We can do the job. So you never know what will happen. As Ashwin bowls to Latham, who defends once again, and the same story continues. So 1 for 28, 12.4 overs. Anything is possible in this match. I still think all three results are possible. A slight chance of New Zealand having some momentum of winning the match. India, yes, they can win. and draw, even that's a possibility. Can New Zealand do to India what India did to Australia in that Sydney match? If they can pull that off, that will be something to revel about. That is possible. As this ball once again keeps low, it will depend. New Zealand know that they can. Can they do a Sydney? I think they can do a Sydney. I think all three results still possible. You never know. But next 60 minutes, 60, 90 minutes will decide how this particular match goes. Another 20 overs to go before you can have any kind of decision. So anything is possible. So in half an hour, they managed to bowl 9 overs. The over rate is decent. And Umesh Yadav will continue. Ishant Sharma's back means his injury was not that much because his hand had stuck into the grass, which had kind of jarred it, but he's back. So which means all the 5 bowlers are back, but it surprises me he hasn't got the left arm spinners right now. But whatever plans the captain has, the captain has. Can't do anything about it. So Ishant Sharma back into the team as one of the top fast bowlers, better than the likes of Kapil Dev. I'll say it and I don't mind saying it. As we get ready, as Ishant Sharma steams in, defends the ball keeps low on the edge of the bat. It's 13.1 overs, 1 for 28. So those who are wondering what is that surprise which is coming your way along with the milestone episode of 450 episodes, well, you will have to wait. You will receive a separate mail on Wednesday at 10 a.m. So keep an eye on that, 10 a.m. IST for global viewers, which means 4:30 a.m. UK time and 9 p.m. US time and the global time of other countries. As Ishant Sharma steams in, bowling to the, well, some will say, thank you so much, I will let the ball go. Well, if they cannot get this guy out in the next 15 minutes, it's fine. He's batting well. He's been sent to make sure that you protect the more important batters. But I don't like this idea of protecting. Why couldn't have they sent your proper batters, even if it was 5 overs? I don't never like this idea. I've never do that. And then as far as the arguments with the match officials are concerned, well, in any other sport, had this happened, the players would have been given several reprimand on the spot. Now, what will happen is after this match were over, the match referee, like a teacher, will note down that yes, this particular bowler for this particular reason was arguing with the umpire. These were the controversies in this match, and maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow in your newspapers, on pseudo media, in print and electronic media, you will see Ashwin fined 50% of his match fees for showing dissent at officials. But will they evaluate the officials' performance? Maybe, maybe not. Will the Indian Cricket Board evaluate the performance of the officials? Maybe no. Edge and 4. Well, this is not Melbourne or an Australian pitch. The ball will just go along the ground, and he's moved on to 18, his highest score in his entire career. And maybe if he gets to 50, it will be like maybe we'll send him more up the order. Can't do anything with these edges. And then the question will come, where should the slip stand? A substandard ground with a substandard pitch, that's the last thing you want to talk about, but that's one thing you do talk about often. Can't do anything about this. Maybe try something different. Bowl a bouncer. Or change your bowling, get the left arm spinner, or go around the wicket. Whatever, you have played 100 matches, and this is not the first time a number 11 has been sent at number 3 and he's batting like this. Ishant Sharma has done it before. Once again, defends like a proper batter. So this will bring confidence in them. But I think New Zealand in this match erred by not going with the extra bowler, or even risking reducing their batting lineup. But you never know what will happen in this match. If they had to send a night guard or night watcher, they could have sent Jamieson, they could have sent Saudi, but now because they are high profile people, Somerville is one of those part time who only plays when New Zealand has to go with an extra spinner. So he's there only because a case by case need, not an everyday need. As he bowls, who defends properly, 14 gone, 1 for 32. So here we are, 1 for 32. In half an hour, they have managed to bowl 10 overs, so they have around 83 overs remaining for the entire day, notwithstanding something as ridiculous as bad light and things like that to come into the equation, which will, because I'm looking through my television and it's hazy. It's not as if the television is dirty, it's just like there is no sun. The sun will come at 11 o'clock. It's foggy, it's misty, and it's the northern part of the country. What do you expect? But that's how it is. So 14.1 overs, Ashwin bowling. Maybe it's time to bring a spinner, change of ends, and all those things that you can try. As he's bowling round the wicket, he sweeps, misses, everyone misses. The bowler misses the sums, the batter misses the ball, and the keeper collects. Even if this was an LBW, this would have been impact outside. As Ashwin bowls the third ball of the 15th over, and going at 2 runs per over means they're not in the mood. If they were chasing, then they need that punt like situation. They don't have a punt like batter from the remaining batters who are to come. Neither Williamson nor Taylor nor Nichols nor Blundell nor Ravindra Rachin are expected to make 90 of 100 balls. So they are going to do a Sydney, but there's no don't expect them to start attacking and putting and trying to change the plans. So this way, it's almost like a stalemate. The batters not giving wickets, the bowlers trying everything. You might see in the next few minutes the field spreading like a one-day field or a 20-over field with no short leg, no as he sweeps, but straight one bounce to the leg slip. So he's trying something, but this is almost like a stalemate because neither of the sides are being over aggressive. If if New Zealand wanted any chance to be over aggressive, then they would have started attacking. Once again, defense straight to the fielder and 14.5. You can see that there is oohs and ahs happening, but that's not enough. But anything is possible. 284 is not the kind of target you defend, but New Zealand are not in the mood to chase, which I'm not surprised by. And this is not the first time in deteriorating light that India has to defend. As he flicks it away towards square leg, and they will take 2 runs, so that semi-aggressive approach coming. 15 gone, 1 for 34. And let's take a short break. welcome back after the break as we will discuss the final two overs of this particular match as New Zealand are 1 for 34 while the Sri Lanka West Indies match is still affected by rain. Let's see what will happen as Ishan bowls to Somerville, lets it go. The wide delivery, he doesn't mind letting it go. Are we expecting a Sydney thing to happen? It is a possibility that that might happen. We will never know. As we get ready for the final 11 balls of this particular match. As a Sri Lanka West Indies match remains affected by rains. Rains,
It's
bad light,
10:15.
what do you expect? Once again, rides the bounce, but straight to the fielder on one bounce. Well, this is not Australia or South Africa or even England. This is, well, poor quality Indian pitches, but not the first time you were seeing things like this when the fast bowlers don't do much. But this doesn't make Ishan Sharma any, doesn't make the fact that legs of Javagal Srinath were better than Ishan Sharma. No, never. That's what I'm never going to accept that. That will never happen. And if I have to look at the list of bowlers, it starts with 2000 Zahir Khan onwards. There were a few bowlers who came, who tried to do well, were discarded, were suspended because of other extracurricular activities, including a certain Srishant. He would have been a handful here. Once again, he drives straight to mid-on, so they're not in the mood. They just want to make sure that whatever 70, 80 overs remain in tonight's game, they just play it out. They may make 100 runs in the entire day or maybe 150 runs. That doesn't matter. So I think it's time to maybe bring about a change or get one of the left arm all rounders in the play. Let's see what happens. Left arm spinner, how does the opener and number 11 play that situation? That will be something interesting. Change something. You don't have too many options. It's not as if anybody else can bowl, but that's something we can work on. As the final 9 balls of this match, Ishan steams into Somerville, who says, my job is to do what every number 11 job is to do, who is promoted as the night guard, and I'm doing exactly that. But this is not the first time that they are in this situation. For somebody who's been doing this for 14 years, knows exactly what he has to do, and that's one aspect of such situations. You have done this for 14 years, you will do this for the next 6. So anything is possible right now. The final 8 balls of this morning's commentary as Ishan steams into Somerville, who defends, in fact takes an important single. Score moves on to 1 for 35. This partnership moves on to 32 of nearly 90 balls, of nearly 60 balls. It's 1 for 35 after 15.5 overs. So anything is possible. They might lose a wicket. They might just go unseparated at lunchtime. You never know what will happen. So we get ready for the final 7 balls of this morning's match. As Latham now on 12 of 42 and the night guard on 19 of 47, who will be appreciated if he survives some more time. As on the pads, flicked away to fine leg, the score moves on to 1 for 36. So we are just 6 balls away from the final commentary, but once again a reminder, the 450th episode is only 48 hours away, and also in addition there is a special surprise. So you have to just be calm, and you will receive a mail at 10 a.m. IST about the special surprise, and then we will discuss that in details. As once again, Ashwin will continue, and this is the final over of this morning's broadcast. As we get ready, defense past everyone, the close-in fielders, and a single taken. So smart batting. Now he will have to bowl to the night guard. The five balls, the final five balls. And for me, once again, the International Cricket Board, the governing bodies, have to look at introducing red cards, yellow cards, some kind of penalty on the spot. Don't wait for the match referee after the match is over to announce that you are suspended as his ball is carried away and he gets two impressive runs. So don't wait for the match referee to say, okay, you are suspended, you are fined, or the entire team is deducted of their match. Nobody cares about match fees. Match fees is irrelevant and it comes too late. It's like saying that the teachers see dissent in the class, but they can't do anything. They are helpless, powerless, or they don't, or they are quasi decision makers. And then they write a report to the principal that this X student, Y student did this. The principal will review it, interview people, or in this case, as this ball is defended, in this case, he's watching live proceedings, but he's also helpless till the end of the match. And we have seen controversies arise whenever an Indian team is involved as far as such situations are concerned, where the bowlers and the fielding team, if they are an Indian team, have an argument with the on field officials as this ball goes through, beats the bat with a beauty. As I've said, I've seen that before. The 2008 incident in Australia, where the Indian team threatened a walkout, and then the match referee and the hosting team had to placate them. So the Indian Cricket Board is nothing less than a bully in itself. So yes, either have a situation where the umpires can make a decision, that is the international governing body thinks about it, or it's a waste. After the match, what's the worst you can do? Suspend the bowler, find the team, reprimand them for whatever clauses. It's meaningless. So that ends 17 overs and this morning's broadcast. And let's take a short break once again. So this ends episode number 449 on the 29th of November 2021, the final episode of November 2021. And now stay tuned for the next episode.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show.
and I will be back on the 1st of December 2021 as we begin the final episodes of 2021 with a milestone episode of episode number 450, the final milestone episode of 2021. Remember, we started 2021 with 300 episodes, just around 300 episodes, and we will start the final month with the 450th episode and then descend into 2022. But there's a special surprise coming. Do not forget to open your mails at 10 a.m. IST and we will discuss that further. And while you wait for the 450th episode and that surprise, add these books to your must read books column. Once again, add these books to your must read books column. All of them are available on Amazon. And then like and subscribe to this channel.